Hey y'all, hi. So I've been getting some kind of mean comments actually about how I mean, the gist of the comments is like, I'm garbage because I never do heavy eye makeup like I used to, or I don't do those like super intense playful eye looks or makeup looks like I used to do pretty frequently on my channel. And it's gotten me thinking. I mean, it's not a response to the meanness. The meanness of the comments doesn't bother me, except for in as much as it makes me sad that people are like going around being mean in their lives when there's already so much that's troubling on all of our plates right now. I mean, of all the times in this moment of history that we're all like alive during, like of all the times to be going around being mean, you know, I don't have to live with you mean people. I just have to see your comment and then move on with my day. But your friends and family, they are having to live with you. Anyways, not the meanness that's gotten to me. The gist of some of these comments has stuck with me, and it has made me think that it might be fun to revisit some of those techniques and some of those actual, you know, makeups, some of those actual products that I used to feature more heavily. I actually do have a whole video about my makeup style having changed, and maybe those people haven't seen that video. I'll link it in the cards. It was a while ago that I made that video. And you know, it's pretty much been a continuation of that since then, but it doesn't mean that I can't sit down and play and just see where it takes me and see how it makes me feel. So that's what I'm going to do today. If this happens to be your first time to my channel, well, you're welcome here. Mean people, not mean people, everyone is welcome. My name is Hannah. I'm a writer. I'll link my book down below at the top of the description box. I also make these beauty videos on YouTube and other videos about aesthetics and consumerism. I hope you'll subscribe if you like this. Let's get into the meat of the video. All right, I'm going to start by doing my brows. I am not going to zoom you in. I'm sorry. My skin is recovering from some overzealous home waxing. I over-egged it a bit with the waxing, and especially on my upper lip, it looks bad. If you like this video, if you watch it and you like it, I'll do it again, and I'll do more zoomed in, like more demonstrating tutorial type stuff. This is just makeup playtime, okay? So maybe we'll zoom in the footage if I'm like way too far away, but I'm not gonna like zoom in the camera really close. Thank you for your kind understanding, most of you. Here's what I'm gonna do. This is a technique that I shared on camera a long time ago and used for a while and then promptly forgot about myself. And then one of you recently on my video about the 5 ways to make your makeup look better commented that this was the top tip that I had ever given you that helps you, and then like you gave it back to me in the comments, and I've been doing it again ever since, and it's so good. It's the drawing the line underneath the brows technique. And it is a little bit more of like a sharp, groomed makeup brow, so I feel like it's appropriate to today's project. I start basically making a dot. Oh, I'm sorry, we're focusing on the mirror. A dot at like where the point of the brow would be. That's the bottom of the front, the up and down line of the front of the brow, and the bottom of where like a line drawing underneath the arc of the brow would meet. So like this, the point of the brow closest to my nose, basically a dot there. And I'm actually gonna do that on both sides. I'm using the Kimiko brow pencil, by the way. This is what I've been using. I have the shade Black Tea. It's the best. Okay, and from there, just light, very light sketching of a line from that dot to the tail of the brow underneath, like on the very bottom edge of the brow. And the thing is, that's basically it. Obviously, you can't leave it at this because there are these lines, right? Like that. You can't, like, that's not a finished brow. But it takes very little to blend the line with the hairs that are there. Just very little, like a little bit of filling in, maybe a little bit of smudging away that initial dot so that it's not so strong. Now we're almost done, right? But I put very little product, just sort of filling in the little patchy areas, maybe a little bit up top with a couple of hair strokes. But it's just a surprisingly sculpted brow with surprisingly little penciling, and I'm into it. This is what I've been doing absolutely every day. With that clean line on the bottom, it's important not to overdo it too much with filling in the rest of the brow. And so I'm kind of erring on the side of leaving it, you know? And then when I go in with the gel, which is also from Kimiko, I can use the little brush to move the hairs around and kind of fill in more gaps. So doing as much as possible with as little product as possible, like as little pencil as possible. And you can see that once I've kind of moved all the brows into place with a little bit of gel, that line on the bottom looks even more natural, like it makes even more sense. Although I feel like I actually feel like I over-egged it a bit today because I was doing it on camera. This is always what happens. It's like I sit down to demonstrate and I get overzealous. But you know, over-egging it is what today is all about. So maybe it's okay. I am going to go in with a Q-tip though and just try to fade that line a little. Yeah, that helped just soften that line a little. There, I feel like it's a nice balance between structured and natural. Especially up close, you can really see the individual hairs. That's like the dominant effect, is the individual hairs rather than the drawn on line. But then the brow is filled in like just where it needs to be to create a pleasing groomed shape. And enough of a frame to handle a heavy eye look, which is like the main plan for today. So here's what I have. It's the box in which I put my eyeshadow drawer, the contents of my eyeshadow drawer before we moved. It was a box within a box this morning. I went through the box into which I packed all the boxes into which I put all of the contents of the drawers of my vanity before we moved because nothing's back in the drawers behind me. Those drawers are empty. But this will eventually all go into one of those drawers. It's all my eyeshadow. I'm excited. Oh, and I'm so glad there's a primer right on top because I went to use some eyeshadow the other day and I didn't have an eye primer and it actually kind of faded throughout the day because it was just a powder eyeshadow that I had stuck straight onto my unprimed skin. This is the Alter Ego lid primer. It's a really good one. My immediate thought is that I should go for a Pat McGrath palette. The big guns. I have two. Midnight Sun, the original Pat McGrath palette review. The first time I tried the formula. And what is this one called? Moonlit Seduction, which I have actually ended up using more frequently as like just its whole own palette. And it's the one that I feel like digging into today. But part of me wants like chunks of glitter. It's like if we're gonna do it. So I also have my, oh yeah, there's gonna be something in here. This is my palette of single eyeshadows. And some of these old, gosh, at this point, old, like depressingly old Colourpop pressed glitters. I'm definitely gonna put the butter on the spinach with one of them. But let's start with Moonlit Seduction. So the way that I always used to, I often go in and have for a long time gone in with like a shiny shadow on a finger all over the lid and then like build in structure around that. I kind of want to start with building in structure first, a little more traditional. So this is the Rephr 14. I'm gonna go into this brown and I'm gonna put it in my outer corner. So when I say outer corner, I actually mean like the outer part of my lid above the corner of my eye and then all the way up onto my brow bone pretty close to the tail of my brow because my eyes are hooded. So I don't want to just put it down here into that fold, which will disappear when I open my eyes. I want that still to be visible when my eyes are open. So that's why it's like this large patch that kind of covers both the skin that's like right outside of the corner of my eye and the skin that's right underneath the tail of my brow in sort of a diffuse cloud. On me, it's a very hilly terrain, right? There's like the brow bone that goes in and then there's the eyelid. And so it's like this cloud, this amorphous cloud of dark shadow that's covering a curved and creviced surface. I am feeling myself rejecting the old kind of perfectly symmetrical airbrushed Instagram glam makeup style. Even as I go in with what is for me these days a lot of makeup, I'm feeling inspired by like fashion, editorial makeup. Maybe this isn't a surprise, but I'm feeling like if this were a runway look, you know, if this were for a magazine editorial, it wouldn't need to be perfectly symmetrical, airbrushed, looking like it's created by AI. You know, I'm okay with there being a human element of asymmetry and imperfection. I mean, I guess I was always like that. It's just, I think part of me has been, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have the time to sit here blending until everything's perfect. I don't have the time to tinker with it until it's symmetrical. But now that I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, but it doesn't need to be perfectly symmetrical. Okay, with the same brush, I'm going to add a little bit of that to the lower lash line. I think I need an eyeliner. Oh. Actually, I think my eyeliners are in this box. Okay, this is perfect. The Surratt Smokey Eye Baton, the eyeliner that comes with this, it's so creamy, but also really sturdy. And it's not pitch black. You know what I mean? It's not jet black. It's like a really dark brown. This is the shade Fumee Brun, maybe. Yeah, just putting that on the waterline. Okay, so I put that on like my lash line, upper and lower lash line on the waterline and smudged it with my finger because I just feel like that's the thing to do these days. It's like if I'm going to do this, that's the way that I'm going to do it. I'm really liking how this looks. I don't feel as not myself as I thought that I would. But actually, I want to smudge it a little more, so I'm going to use the actual smudger with eyeshadow that comes on the other side of this. Oh yeah, that makes it look a lot smoother, more composed, more intentional. The other end of the tool was the right tool for the job. This is such a great product. I have a code with Surratt. I've put it in the description box a lot, but I feel like I haven't had occasion to mention it, especially not recently. If you are a Surratt makeup lover, just keep that in mind. Okay. Okay, it's time for the fun part. I know that I want to use some chunky glitter, and even though we're doing the most, I also don't want it to get so heavy on my lids that it feels like totally out of control. I want there to still be a little bit of a delicacy to it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the same brush, because who cares? And I'm going to go into this really exciting shade, which I would usually pack on with a finger, and I'm going to put it on with a brush and see what happens. Okay, blended it softly into the brown shadow, and so it put down some of kind of the base color, but it doesn't have that really rich buildup of shine. So I'm gonna take my finger and just trace it along like the raised part of the eyelid that's raised because that's where the eyelashes are stuck in, like right at the part of my eyelid that meets the eyelashes, just touching that part in the middle of the lid. So it kind of makes a bright line. You see that? This is fun. Yeah, it's fun. I thought I was going to wash it off right after, but I'm not. I think that's as far as I'm going to take it though, with like the inky gunky, mixy, squishy, dark velvety. But I want to put one of these two glitters, just the littlest bit. I think it's going to be this one, which is called Get Lost. I don't know if Colourpop even makes these anymore, but there's probably something like this. But you know what? Now I'm like cleaning it off of my hands. I think I want something that's going to dry down and stick actually, and not just, I mean, there is a little bit of adhesive mixed in, but I don't want the little pieces of glitter flaking off of my eyes and all over the place today. So I'm going to use something else. I'm going to use this. This is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Liquid Liner. It's almost out. This might be its last hurrah, but it's got, oh yeah, it's actually, I'm having a hard time getting any out. It should have an adhesive mixed in, and yeah, I can get enough. So I'm just painting it with a little brush onto my fingertip, and I'm going to use that in place of the eyeshadow, which what I was planning to do is put it a little bit on like the bare skin right underneath my eyebrow, and then sort of drag it down to the center of the lid. But it's pretty subtle, partly because I couldn't get very much out because this is really all done and pretty dried up. This though, this is a product I've had for years and really used up, and I think it's worth replacing. It actually might be like a makeup product that I replace simply because I used it up, which is very, very rare for me. Okay, I have a little bit of fallout. I'm going to deal with that, and then I'm going to apply mascara. Not much fallout. I just brushed it away and then used this NARS powder under there, which is a tiny bit. For mascara, I'm still testing this Iris&Romeo Lash Up Peptide Thickening Mascara. The brush has a very unusual shape. I really like it so far. It's a very heavy, luxuriously heavy component. It feels really nice. So there it is on the upper lashes. It applies beautifully. It's not too wet. It feels aggressively lifting and curling. I'm not a lash curling mascara aficionado, but it feels like the most lifting and curling mascara I've ever used in my life. I mean, it is really executing on the brief. Super intense on the lower lashes, but I think I'm gonna leave it at least for now. It makes me feel like I need a little bit more, like this white line where the mascara starts, but then it's just my waterline underneath there. It makes me feel like I need to put more eyeliner in there. There we are, everybody. I still got it. What am I gonna do on the rest of my face? Probably almost nothing. Yeah, almost nothing. Maybe nothing. I feel like my cheeks, I'll tell you what I wanted to use. This brand, Ami Collet, sent me PR. I love it so much. The makeup is specifically designed for melanin-rich skin. That's the brand. That's Ami Collet. I am not blessed in that way, but I'm really glad to be able to review the products and showcase the brand. The classic, the iconic Ami Collet product, they sent me another one, which is good because the first tube that I had, like it started leaking. And I don't know why. And I'll be interested to see if this one does the same thing. It's this gorgeous brown lip gloss. I mean, you all remember. And maybe this actually is the thing today, because this would be the perfect companion for this lip. But the new product, the new launch, is the Cream Multistick. Clearly, I've already been messing with it. The color is so beautiful because it's that like reddish brown. And I think that the sunburnt look cheeks, that's what I've been doing with it. But, you know, in my own space, like not up here, not on camera, I've just been like messing with it, doing like those faux sunburn cheeks and then the matching lip with this kind of like creamy matte stick. It would be too much today, but I'll do the tiniest bit, like literally the tiniest, just to wake up my complexion a tiny bit and make it not too washed out. And I'll showcase this another time because I want you to see the way that it looks all over, like used all over the face as a multi-stick. It's one of the most successful multi-sticks I've seen in a long time. Most multi-sticks only succeed at one of the multiple things that they claim that they can do. And this one from Amy Collet, it seems like it is kind of that unicorn, that multi-stick unicorn. Here's the gloss. Yeah, the perfect way to complete this look because the brown is cool toned. It doesn't create like an orange moment on my face that I feel like would be battling with the purples and blues that are reflecting the eyes. It gives my lips shine. It makes it so there's makeup on my lips as well, but it's not too much. It's not competing and it feels so good. The lips, it's like not sticky, but not that weird gross Teflon jelly either. It feels super nourishing. It feels like it has nourishing oils in it. I did it. I caved to the mean girls who had a good point, I guess. And how am I feeling? Here's how this makes me feel. I wish I had somewhere to go because how I feel right now in my life is with makeup is that it's not that I don't love this. It's not that I don't like the way that I look. It's not like I don't feel like myself. What it is that I have become, I feel, more attuned to the part of fashion, the aspect of beauty and fashion that has to do with picking the right outfit and the right makeup for the occasion. I feel like a large part of being stylish, actually, a large part of having like a personal taste, a personal style that is integrated, is elegant, sits well on you, you know, has to do with correctly identifying the elements of your wardrobe, your makeup drawer that will work the best, that will mesh with the day that you're having, you know? And this is just, it's not only is it not the day that I'm having today, I mean, it is in that the day that I'm having included sitting down and filming YouTube videos about makeup, which is maybe the thing that I need to keep in mind going forward, that I don't need to always be putting on the makeup for the day that I'm going to have after I'm done filming. I could be putting on makeup for the camera to create a look for videos because I'm not going to go out tango dancing tonight, but you might be going to. You know, I'm not going out to dinner. I'm not going out to the club. You might be going out to the club. So I would love to bring club looks and, you know, looks for a music festival, looks for these things that I am not doing that much in my life right now, but used to do frequently and will do again. You know, I think that maybe I need to like relax the bounds a little bit and sometimes do that. So this makes me feel like I would love to do that and makes me kind of see the way towards doing that. But it also clarifies for me that it's not as though I've left rich or colorful makeup behind for myself or for my identity. It's actually just that I feel like become more of an accurate judge of what any given day calls for and happier to just do what's right on any given day. So I feel great just dressing in sort of the more minimal way that I've been dressing because that's what my life calls for right now. Wearing these more minimal makeup looks because that's what my life calls for right now. Instead of fighting with myself and feeling like, oh, but I miss the glitter, I miss the color, I miss the ruffles, you know, instead of feeling that way, I'm like, oh, this is just right for now. What I'm doing usually just feels very elegant for now and that feels good. And the day will come when it's appropriate to wear this again. And then I will do it and I'll also feel great doing that. And so I feel like the dramatic tension, so to speak, between like those parts of myself has relaxed a bit. I've just kind of let go of the need to always be doing everything or always be struggling like to figure out how to interact with like these tools of beauty and like the beautiful things that I have. Now that my hair is down, I feel like the cheeks could take a little more. Look at that color. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is what I would look like if I were going to go to a concert or something. And I'm not, but if I were, this is what I would look like. Maybe. I mean, maybe I would just wear a strong red lip, brows and a strong red lip. I could also see myself doing that, but I'll leave that for another day. I hope this was fun. Let me know if you would like to see more of this. Like, was it just the vocal minority saying, oh, I miss the glittery smoky eyes, or was this enjoyable content for all of you? Let me know. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.